Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the launch of the Macquarie Investing in Women Rise Fund. I am Jaja Cruzulia, your host for today. RISE in Rise Fund, of course, stands for Responsive Interventions Supporting Entrepreneurs. We would like to thank the members of the press for joining us in this auspicious here and those who are joining us in Zoom. We'd also like to welcome our friends from the Australian Embassy, Department of Foreign Affairs and Trade Australia, or DFAT, Investing in Women, Macquarie, Invest Capital Society, Inc. On Zoom and Facebook Live, we have more members of the press from both the Philippines and Australia, our friends from Macquarie's and Investing in Women from various parts of the world, and guests from several women's business groups. So welcome everyone. The Macquarie Investing in Women Rise Fund is an initiative of the Australian government's Department of Foreign Affairs and Trade, the Macquarie Foundation and partners, InvestCap Ventures Inc., and the Foundation for a Sustainable Society Inc. It is with great excitement that we are launching it today with a ceremonial signing of the announcement. But first, to welcome us all, let us hear from the Ambassador of Australia to the Philippines, His Excellency Ambassador Steve Robinson, AO.
Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. I'd like to start with some acknowledgements, please. Eric Yaptangco, Division Director, Manila Technology and Office Head of the Macquarie Group. Mr. Yorman Yao, a Chairperson of the Board of Trustees of the Foundation for a Sustainable Society Incorporated. Ms. Christy Rowena C. Plantilla, Corporate Secretary of the Board of Trustees of the Foundation for a Sustainable Society Incorporated. Mr. Toto Kamba, co-founder and CEO of InvestCap Ventures, Ms. Benilda Ronquillo Kamba, board member and corporate secretary of InvestCap Ventures, and colleagues from Investing in Women and the Australian Embassy, representatives from the media, participants on our Zoom platform this morning, ladies and gentlemen. As you can tell by my arrival here and my enthusiasm to get up on the podium, it's a very big day for us. This is the first day that we have come out physically to present, and it is in the best of causes. And so I'm absolutely delighted to be here, and I'm excited at the process. So thank you very much indeed for joining us this morning for the launch of this important partnership between the Australian Government's Investing in Women program and the Macquarie Group Foundation. The Macquarie Group Foundation is making a substantial investment, more than 43 million Philippine pesos, that's 1.25 million Australian dollars, to expand the number of women's small and medium-sized enterprises who will be able to receive funding and grow their businesses through the Investing in Women Responsive Interventions Supporting Entrepreneurs, or RISE Fund. Working with the Foundation for a Sustainable Society Incorporated and InvestCap Ventures, the partnership's investments in women-led and women-owned businesses will have a multiplier effect in the local economy by creating and sustaining more than 200 full-time jobs. I would like to acknowledge the enormous challenges that COVID-19 has really placed on all our lives. But, as I was saying earlier, our physical presence here today, something that we could once have taken for granted, symbolises our optimism for the future, and I am certainly optimistic about the future. COVID-19 has pushed the Philippines into its first recession in 3 decades, and millions of Filipinos have lost their jobs and their livelihoods. Now, in response to this challenge, Australia is working with the Philippine government to help manage and recover from COVID-19. We have reoriented our development cooperation program to support health security, to help maintain stability, and to stimulate economic recovery, with a focus on vulnerable groups, particularly women and girls. The Philippines and Australia share a strong commitment to gender equality. Through our joint efforts, we are focusing on the disproportionate impact of COVID-19 on women and girls. Now, many Filipino women are employed in service industries such as retail, hospitality, and tourism, which have all contracted sharply due to the pandemic. And women are also often expected to take on additional childcare responsibilities due to school closures. But Philippine businesses do not typically have flexible work arrangements that enable them to do so. Evidence from past experiences has shown us that during health and economic crises, women's economic security, participation in formal employment, political representation, and health and education outcomes tend to be more negatively impacted than men's. Without significant additional effort, the current crisis will damage women's economic security for years to come. The pandemic only strengthens the moral and economic imperatives to invest with a gender lens and unlock the potential of women and girls. If governments and the private sector can ensure the investments they make to spur economic recovery empower both women and men, then these resources will open up new opportunities, mitigate market risks, and build long-term economic resilience. Macquarie has a substantial presence here in the Philippines, I'm delighted to say, and I commend their initiative to provide innovative, philanthropic support to the country's economic recovery. While the Philippine economy is expected to rebound next year, driven by fiscal stimulus measures, public investments, especially in infrastructure and consumer spending, there is a dearth of liquidity in capital markets. Working with local investing partners, the Macquarie Investing in Women Rise Fund will catalyse much needed investment in women's SMEs. There is also an important demonstration effect from this initiative. The investment partners, Foundation for a Sustainable Society Incorporated and InvestCap Ventures, are committed to strengthening the gender lens investing ecosystem in the Philippines and encouraging other investors to participate. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'm absolutely delighted to help launch this new and important partnership to facilitate investment in women-owned and women-led businesses. The collaboration between the Australian government and our partners here today is a testament to what we can achieve together. So I wish the Macquarie Investing in Women Rise Fund every possible success. Thank you very much and good morning. Mabuhay.
Thank you very much, Ambassador Robinson. We echo your excitement and optimism. We are most delighted that the Australian government has chosen the Philippines to pilot the Macquarie Investing in Women Rise Fund. Now, to tell us more about this initiative, we have on video Ms. Julie Ann Guevara, Australia's Ambassador for Gender Equality. Let's all watch this.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Julie Ann Guevara, Australia's Ambassador for Gender Equality. Very early on, the Australian government recognised there was a significant risk that COVID-19 could exacerbate gender inequalities and risk women's economic security in our Indo-Pacific region. We saw COVID-19 impacting on the health, social and economic well-being of communities across the region, noting the impacts particularly on vulnerable groups, including women and girls. We believe women and girls can be very real agents for change in the economic recovery of our region, and that gender lens investing, by governments and the private sector can unlock new opportunities, mitigate market risks, and build long-term economic resilience. Australia is committed to working towards a strong recovery across the region in collaboration with the public and private sector partners, which takes account of the needs of women and girls. Through our flagship program, Investing in Women, we have responded quickly and decisively to ensure that women play a key role in economic recovery and that they're supported in those endeavours. Investing in Women is helping women's SMEs to adapt to the changed business environment and ensuring that women have continued access to financing when they most vitally need it. For several years now, Investing in Women has used its Australian government funding to attract further commitments from the private sector. Today, we recognise the collaboration between Macquarie Group Foundation and Investing in Women to promote women-led SMEs as drivers of inclusive economic growth and resilience in the Philippines. This partnership has the potential to unlock transformative capital and hopefully draw in even more private sector investment into the region in support of women's economic empowerment. Through this investment, we have seen the green shoots of a different kind of response to the current economic downturn, one which puts women at the very centre of recovery efforts, and that has to be good for us all.
With the challenges faced by many businesses in this pandemic, the RISE Fund will certainly help bolster recovery efforts of small and medium enterprises in the Philippines, especially those run and led by women. The Macquarie Foundation, the philanthropic arm of the Macquarie Group, one of the biggest financial conglomerates in the world, help hundreds of community organizations globally each year through financial support, volunteering, and skill sharing, mostly in locations which Macquarie operates. To tell us more about the Macquarie Foundation and its extent of commitment to the Macquarie Investing in Women RISE Fund, may we call Mr. Eric Yaptangco, Division Director, Manila Technology and Office Head of the Macquarie Group.
Good morning, everybody. So I think it's really great to be here physically this morning, and certainly with our partners. Ambassador Robinson, good morning. Tetay, Beng, Toto, Oman, our partners going forward in this initiative, and everybody who has come together here physically, and everybody who is actually watching us right now on video. Thank you very much for attending this event. I'd just like to give you a quick background on Macquarie, who we are and why we're here. So we are an Australian headquartered, multinational, diversified financial group with offering clients with asset management, finance, banking, advisory, and risk and capital solutions across debt, equity, and commodities. It was founded in 1969 with about 16,000 staff globally and about 600 billion Australian dollars assets under management. We actually have been in the Philippines since 2004, and we offer in the Philippines as well a myriad of offerings in financial services from infrastructure, energy, trading and advisory. We have a global capability here as well in the Philippines that supports the global operations and capabilities of Macquarie worldwide. We're about 1,000 strong in the Philippines, and the commitment is very strong and will continue to do so in the next few years. I think what really defines us and has really affected me deeply in the last few years being in Macquarie is our culture. The culture of the organization is something that we're really, really proud of. And the three words that was welcoming to me and has now been tattooed in my head, because I see that in every event that we have, the three words of what we stand for, of opportunity, integrity, and accountability. Those three words are the foundation pieces of the organization, and it's something that is not just words on a piece of paper or presentations. It is something that we live and breathe and do in everything that we're doing within the organization. One of the key areas of Macquarie is the Macquarie Group Foundation. So the approach that we have within Macquarie, which makes it really, really interesting, is that it is part of what we do on a daily basis. It is part of the fabric of the organization. In everything that we do in the last few years, even prior to the COVID situation, we had a 50th anniversary fund, and we have been doing a lot in terms of working with our communities in some of our regional efforts and also our global partnerships. In the last few months, we've had a COVID response as well here in the Philippines with some partner organizations, and will continue to do so in the next few months and years to come, as indicated and as you can see in our commitment in this Investing in Women Rise Fund going forward. The characteristic of the organization and the foundation, which really appeals to me as well, it's very staff-driven. So we really approach it from the communities and what really resonates with our staff, and making sure that we address the needs of our community and we remain connected into what's happening, not just across our investments, but certainly with the communities that are that we affect and we influence within that investment. A few months ago, and it seems like it's in preparation to the pandemic, Macquarie also unveiled its purpose statement. It's in very Macquarie fashion. It was actually done from ground up. So with talking to staff, hundreds of staff globally, really trying to distill, what is our purpose, what is our essence as an organization. And we came up with that our purpose, which is really empowering people to innovate and invest for a better future. And that is really very appropriate in what we're trying to do right now in this situation. When we empower people, we look at partnerships, because we know that while Macquarie is a pretty substantial organization, partnerships across the Australian government, partnerships with InvestCap and FSSI are the ones that really will allow us to magnify and amplify our impact to society. People, empowering people, at the end of the day, it's about our communities. It's about everybody connecting and being together and doing things that we need to do to make sure that our country and our economy progresses. Innovate. It's clearly a situation where everything has turned upside down and inside out, that we need to now look at new ways of doing things and truly creating something and flourishing, not just surviving, but succeeding and excelling in this current situation. Investing, commitment, not just on funds, but on focus and time and effort and energy as we move forward in all of our efforts, and certainly moving towards a better future. Seems like it was prophetic that this purpose statement rolled out, I believe December, January, really resonates with everything that we're trying to do. I've traveled quite a bit in my career, and one of the things I've always found that when coming back to the Philippines is the role of women in our society. It has been, women are the foundation of the Philippine society and Philippine culture and Philippine business. So I remember that looking at the executive groups, our leadership groups, women are represented. Better probably in other areas of the world, but at the end of the day, I think we can still do more. And it's really giving that opportunity and giving that access to capital for SMEs and supporting our populations that would really make a difference. The foundations are strong. And I believe that as we move forward with this Rise Fund, we will continue to provide the opportunities for that foundation to get even stronger, and for our women-led businesses, not just to flourish, but to excel and to succeed. So on behalf of the wider Macquarie Group, we are delighted to be part of this launch of this really important relationship to facilitate the investments in women SMEs in the Philippines. Thank you to everybody for the opportunity to be part of this innovative initiative, working together with creative and impact-driven organizations. And we certainly look forward to working closely with all of you, both in person and online, in whatever means will come out in the next few years, in support of our long-term economic recovery efforts across the Philippines. Maraming salamat po.
Thank you. Thank you very much. You bring us great news in this time, these challenging times. I heard the idea of culture, innovation, opportunities. Those really resonated. Thank you very much. Another round of applause for Mr. Yap. The RISE Fund is tasked to support women-led SMEs in the Philippines through InvestCap Ventures, Inc. and the Foundation for Sustainable Society, Incorporated. By investing in the women's gender lens model, the RISE Fund will not only focus on financial return for women-led and operated SMEs, but also on providing more opportunities for women to curb the widening gender financing gap. Representing InvestCap Ventures this morning are its co-founder and CEO, Mr. Augusto Camba, and Ms. Benilda Ronquillo Camba, board member and corporate secretary, who will deliver InvestCap's response.
His Excellency Ambassador Stephen Robinson of the Australian Embassy and Department of Foreign Affairs and Trade, Australia, the representatives of the Macquarie Group Foundation, Mr. Eric Yaptangco, and the women and men over there, the representatives of our colleagues from the FSSI, or the Foundation for Sustainable Society, Ms. Tatay Plantilla and Mr. Norman Yao, friends and partners in development, good morning. For more than 2 decades, I have been involved in helping forest-based and indigenous communities to become economically productive. They make high quality, beautiful, and very sustainable products. However, many of these producers, who are mostly women, have yet to seize bigger opportunities to scale up. They need capital, appropriate technologies, business competencies, and expand their markets. They are one of the reasons why we founded Invest. Invest Venture is an impact investing company that strives to assist growing inclusive SMEs and cooperatives in effectively managing their growth. We do this by addressing operational challenges and helping them raise resources based on the merits of their impact stories and financial performance. Our tagline, "Beyond Financial Access," sums up our mission. We do not provide just finance, but finance that fits SMEs' growth plans and cash flows. Each investment we do comes with inherent risk, but every risk creates new opportunities. We work intimately with our partner enterprises to determine technical assistance they need to boost long-term capacity, viability, and impact. Many SMEs do not have the resources to develop new products, markets, or even manage their internal administration. We're here to help them get ahead, not to get by. We integrate a gender lens in our impact investing strategy and gear toward creating profitable and impactful women-owned and led companies. By creating successful models, we hope to catalyze additional resources towards investing in women. This partnership with DFAT Australia, Investing in Women, and Macquarie Foundation will not only enable us to help more deserving enterprises address the impact of COVID-19 in their operations, but also help them gain traction in catalyzing more support and partnerships toward creating a gender-friendly investment and business sector. At Invest, we are committed and passionate about creating an inclusive and positive impact. SMEs are often described as drivers of job creation and innovation. I would like to upgrade this definition by further saying SMEs are drivers of gender equality. They can play a crucial role in promoting women's economic participation, leadership, and ownership. They can also deliver products and services that take into account the interests and betterment of women consumers. We intend to support SMEs that are owned or led by women through our investing activities. In the Philippines, there are about 110,000 SMEs, more than 50% of which are women-owned and led enterprises. That's a big number for us to work with. Women's economic contributions have to be harnessed to make economies stronger. We are very grateful and proud with this partnership between DFAT Australia, Investing in Women, and Macquarie Group Foundation. We believe this initiative is a good response in restarting and rebuilding the Philippine economy, with women entrepreneurs at the heart of the action. With all of you, our partners, Invest is energized and inspired to leverage our resources to yield larger scale, sustainable, and gender inclusive results. We encourage the global investing community to go beyond financial access by integrating gender lens investing and to pursue equal opportunities for all. Maraming salamat po.
Thank you, Ms. Kamba, for that message and also for providing concrete solutions to energize and empower women entrepreneurs. Thank you very much. Another partner, Foundation for a Sustainable Society Incorporated, is also represented this morning by its chairperson, Mr. Norman Joseph Zhao, and FSSI's Corporate Secretary and Trustee, Ms. Christy Rowena C. Plantilla, who will speak on behalf of SSSI.
Thank you so much. Good morning, everyone. His Excellency Ambassador Steve Robinson, Australian Ambassador to the Philippines, good morning. Mr. Eric Yaptangco, Division Director, Manila Technology and Office Head of Macquarie Group, good morning. Mr. James Sukamute, Impact Investing Director of the Investing in Women, Pathway 2, good morning. Beng and Toto Kamba from InvestCap Ventures, and distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. This is indeed a very big day for us. On behalf of the Foundation for Sustainable Society Incorporated, our chairperson, Mr. Oman Yao, I would like to take this opportunity to thank the Australian government through the Investing in Women program and Macquarie Group Foundation. The COVID-19 pandemic has disproportionately affected marginalized communities all over the country. Social enterprises are among the worst hit and are often with the people who need the most support. With many social enterprises still reeling from the effects of the pandemic, some of them have to deal with the recent consecutive typhoons. Women are very active in these enterprises, not only as wives and mothers, but also as leaders, employees, and entrepreneurs. That is why we are grateful for this partnership with Investing in Women and the Macquarie Group Foundation and the opportunity to directly create impact where it is most needed. Past crises have shown that women and children are among the most vulnerable in times of health and economic crisis. We believe that when we support these women-owned and led enterprises, we will help support communities and local economies build back better and stronger. Investment in Women's partnership with FSSI will help women social enterprises scale up and directly contribute to increase women's participation and influence the enabling environment to promote inclusive growth through women's economic empowerment. Macquarie's group support through the RISE Fund complements the investing in women's assistance and will provide more avenues to assist women's social enterprises, especially through the private capital, expertise, and innovation. This highlights the important role of the private sector in helping local economies build back better. A sustainable recovery from COVID-19 entails a collective effort from various stakeholders. We at FSSI are looking forward and committed to working with Investing in Women and Macquarie Group because together we can do more. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Ms. Plantilla. Build back better. We're looking forward to see the fruition of all your plans. Thank you. And now we come to the highlight of this event, the signing the announcement of the Macquarie Investing in Women Rice Fund. You can stay in your seats. The agreements will come to you. There they are. Okay. So as they're signing the agreement, allow me to read the text to you. Okay. Announcement of Macquarie Investing in Women Rice Fund, responsive intervention supporting entrepreneurs. The Australian government, the Macquarie Group Foundation, Invest Cap Ventures Holding Incorporated, and the Foundation for a Sustainable Society Incorporated wish to raise the amount of credit available to women-owned and women-led small and medium enterprises, women's SMEs located in the Philippines, and Investing in Women, an initiative of the Australian government and the Macquarie Group Foundation have entered into a certain legally binding agreement designed to establish the Macquarie Investing in Women's Rice Fund that will catalyze investment by Invest Cap Ventures Holding Inc. and the Foundation for a Sustainable Society Incorporated into women's SMEs, and the Australian government, the Macquarie Group Foundation, InvestCap Ventures Holding Incorporated, and the Foundation for a Sustainable Society Incorporated wish, without affecting in any way the legal obligations of any of the parties to the foregoing agreement, to make public announcement of the establishment of the Macquarie Investing in Women Rice Fund, and the Australian government, the Macquarie Group Foundation, InvestCap Ventures Holding Incorporated, and the Foundation for a Sustainable Society Incorporated hereby formally announce and affirm the respective commitments to proceed diligently with the implementation of the Macquarie Investing in Women's Rice Fund under a common desire to actively contribute to the COVID-19 economic response and recovery in the Republic of the Philippines by encouraging the growth and vitality of the women's SME business sector. To sign this announcement are the following. For the Macquarie Group Services Australia Proprietary Limited, we have Eric Yaptangco, Division Director, Manila Technology and Office Head. For the Australian government, His Excellency Stephen J. Robinson, AO, Australian Ambassador to the Philippines, will be signing the agreement. Representing InvestCap Ventures Holding Inc., to sign will be Ms. Benilda Ronquillo Camba, Corporate Secretary, Board of Directors. And for the Foundation for a Sustainable Society Incorporated, Ms. Christy Rowena C. Plantilla will be signing the announcement. Ladies and gentlemen, all have signed the agreement today, the 17th of November, 2020. It is a great day. So Okay, so let's mark this milestone with another round of applause. Thank you very much, panelists. I am sure many of our guests are curious to know more details of this initiative, who may avail of it, what are the requirements, and so many more. So we will now open the floor and the chat box to questions. For those witnessing the event online, may we request that you type your questions in the chat box and we will read them for you. We'd like to ask our guests from the press to also first state their name and the organization they represent. As we're waiting for the questions coming from the electronic media, let's kick off the Q&A with a question from the press people in the room.
Good morning, Ambassador. Is the initiative Women's Rights Fund the first for Australia in Southeast Asia?
Yes, indeed. It is one of the first in Southeast Asia. So we're delighted that it's here in the Philippines, of course, because Australia is committed to helping the Philippines recover from the pandemic. So it is terrific that Australia has invested here with the Macquarie Group in this particular enterprise. I should just say a couple of things about it too, because it is so special. You know, one of the things that is so important about this particular activity is that it links the public sector and the private sector together, and having the Macquarie Group, which is a substantial group in Australia, with us is really important. Obviously, that's fantastic. And then it goes to women's empowerment too. And that's so important. As Eric was saying earlier this morning, the fact that it's in the Philippines and women in the Philippines have a very important role and a very important status means a great deal to us. So encouraging that further empowerment is a tremendous thing. And the third thing, of course, is it's all about economic recovery and helping the Philippines to rebound. And if we can get women back into the workforce and their small and medium enterprises up and running again, that will have an enormous impact on the Philippines economy. You already heard from Manila just how many women are involved in the economy here in the Philippines. If we can encourage more through this particular investment, that is just an outstanding outcome for everyone.
Thank you. We have a phone-in question. I think this is addressed to Mr. Eric Yaptangco. This is from Ms. Tina Dumlao of the Philippine Daily Inquirer. Why was it piloted here in the Philippines? And is this just the first assistance to the Philippines by Macquarie?
Well, certainly this really signifies Macquarie's commitment to the Philippines. So we have been here for more than a decade. It's a strong partnership that Macquarie has had with DFAT, with the mission. And it really is to reinforce that commitment and really making sure that we are in the Philippines and will continue to contribute to its ongoing growth and recovery from the COVID situation.
Thank you very much. And our next.
I don't know to whom should I address this question, but how many Filipino entrepreneurs are targeted for this project? And the question asked earlier was why choose the Philippines for this project? Because many in Southeast Asia are also affected with this COVID thing. And perhaps will it also be able to help Filipino women who were affected by these two typhoons that hit us recently?
I think we'll probably all have a go at that question because I think we've all got a slightly different element to it. But if I might go first, I think the ambition is that over the next 18 months to 2 years, we hope to get about 200 or more people in sustainable employment through this particular program, if not more. And I hope to see a significant impact through this particular investment. The whole idea is by putting money into this, because women's businesses are generally so productive, we hope to see something like a 5 to a 15% return on the investment that's being made. That enables further ongoing investment. So it's self-feeding, if you like. So that's very, very significant. In terms of the impact of the recent typhoons, hopefully, yes. If there is a women's enterprise out there, an entrepreneur who wants to get involved in this, we'd welcome it. Why the Philippines? I think Eric's answer goes a good proportion of the way. And for Australia, it goes like this. Australia's been in the Philippines for a long, long time. We celebrate our 75th anniversary of our diplomatic relationship next year. The Philippines really matters to us. It matters to Australian business. It matters to Macquarie. So we've got more than 300 Australian businesses here, of which the Macquarie Group is the largest or one of the largest, and they've been here for a long time, and we already employ more than 44,000 people. That's a partnership that's built in concrete. So if we can further enhance that through this entrepreneurship, through empowering women, we're just going a step further in that relationship. And I couldn't be happier about that as the Australian ambassador to the Philippines.
As for Invest, currently, concretely actually, we are working with the agribusiness sector and the health sector. And we all know that women are highly involved in the agri sector. So a lot of women, especially in the north, will be part of this project. On the other hand, the health sector, which is also prevalently women, where the women are working, this will be also a part of that, a part of this project. So we already know our targets on with this project. So we know that more women, especially in the agribusiness sector, will be targeted. So yeah, it will target a lot of women.
Another question from the floor? Or, sorry, do you have another response? I forgot.
Okay. For FSSI, yes, we commit to contribute to that target of 200 women to be assisted by this project. And for your second question, if we're going to assist those affected by the typhoon, if there are women-led businesses or enterprises that were affected and would like to bounce back and have their businesses return to the mainstream market, yes, we're going to help them.
Okay, thank you very much for your responses.
Can you walk us through with the process? How will these SMEs apply for the fund, or and what will be the criteria for them to qualify?
For FSSI, we're going to implement this program through financial assistance, capability building, joint venture with other social enterprises. The requirement must be they have to be a women-led or women-owned social enterprises with promising or existing enterprises. If they want to scale it up, or if they want to start it up, then they can apply for financial assistance, or if they want to have technology transfer assistance, then that will be part of the services that FSSI will be providing them. And if there are already existing women-led or women-owned enterprises that needs more capital, we can also do a joint venture agreement with them to help them in their enterprises.
Do you have a specific amount for each SMEs, around how much they can access?
For small and medium enterprises, the minimum amount can be 100,000 and up.
as for invest, we are looking at 7 to 15 million investments. As I said earlier, we customize based on the cash flows and growth plans of the enterprise that who are applying. So we fit the assistance, the support, and then we provide technical assistance that they need to better improve their capabilities. So yeah.
All right, thank you very much. Mr. Alex Vergara from People Asia, okay, has a question in the similar vein, but there are some fine details you might still want to address. First, he has three questions. The first question is, how do women entrepreneurs qualify and apply? Second, should they have existing businesses in need of funding, or is your funding assistance open to women entrepreneurs who are just about to start a business in the pandemic? And the third question is, who qualifies apart from being a woman?
Okay. The first
So,
question.
Yeah, the first question is, how do women entrepreneurs qualify
How
and
do
apply?
they? Oh, I can show my card. They can call me, or they can call my colleagues in the group. So, yeah, that's the first thing. You cannot apply if you. And then we talk to you. We closely work with SMEs. We at the moment we decided to focus on growing enterprises, not for startup. Um, and yeah, we, as I said, we really look into the finance, into the growth plans, and then we customize the support based on that. So yeah, and the third question is,
Who qualifies apart from being a woman?
who qualifies?
Not sure how else I could qualify the question. Who qualifies apart from being a woman? I mean, other than gender, what are the other qualifications, I guess?
Okay, everyone is qualified as long as we always say, we make sure that this is women-led and women-owned. We have a definition for women-owned and women-led enterprises. For women-owned, it should be 50%, more than 50%. And then for women-led, it should be at least 20% ownership and 30% participation in the decision in the upper positions of the company or the enterprise.
Right.
So yeah, so if that qualifies for that, yeah.
Great. Okay, thank you. I hope that helps Mr. Vergara. Let's hear from the floor again.
Hello. Do you have a mechanism to ensure that the fund will be distributed evenly nationwide, and it will not be concentrated on in rural areas or urban areas?
Yes, of
Yeah.
course. Yes, we do. Of course, we do have mechanisms, and we make sure that we spread the impact all over the Philippines where it's really needed. But right now, as I said, we are already in the advanced stages of discussing with some groups in Mindanao and some groups in the Luzon areas, and most of these are actually in the agribusiness and the health sector, as I mentioned earlier, and yeah, it's we have to make sure that this fund goes a long way. It doesn't just focus on one area or one sector.
It's also the same for FSSI. Since we operate nationwide, we will make sure that it will be distributed in all the regions of the Philippines. It will not just be focusing on the rural sector or the in one part of the country.
Do you have a program for people with disabilities?
We don't have a specific program for persons with disabilities, but if they have an enterprise that is women-led and or women-owned, and we will be considering it.
Thank you. We have another question from Zoom. This is from Chris Mundo of Philippine News Agency. And this might have been answered already, but you might want to add more. How do you extend the funding to women entrepreneurs? Is it through loans or technical support? Both, the answers, both.
So Actually, it's not only loan; it's more equity. So, as I said earlier, we customize. So, based on the needs of the SME, if it's equity or a combination of loan and equity, so it really depends on the condition of the SME. So that's how we do not just we don't just have one package for it. We try to be more flexible. It's like it's bespoke finance. That's how we term it as well.
Right, with consulting and
Yeah.
discussion.
And of course, apart from that, we also provide technical assistance. It's very important. That's why when we were discussing with Yapi earlier, we would need technical experts who would assist. They are very expert in their field. So we might be needing support in linking these SMEs with technical people from the Macquarie Foundation or Macquarie Group.
Great, thank you. Is there another question from the floor before I read a few more from our online guests? We're good? Okay, Mr. Vergara is really very interested, so he has a couple more questions. And I think his question is, how can interested parties apply? I think he said it starts by getting your cards. And then he has another question, which is, how much can a specific party loan? Is the loan limited to specific businesses? What type of businesses do you prioritize extending assistance to? Are those businesses that are excluded from are there businesses that are excluded from your assistance? That's a loaded question. I can repeat some of them
Okay.
if you desire.
For FSSI, we are very particular for those enterprises that demonstrate the triple bottom line, the people, planet, and profit bottom line of the enterprise. So while we also customize the assistance that we provide with the entrepreneurs, these bottom lines are a must for us, for them to be supported.
Okay.
Shall I also?
No, only if you want.
No, for Invest, we are actually sector agnostic, meaning we don't really have a very specific sectors, but we, as again, I said we need to study
Right.
the business, and then using the gender lens investing tool. So we make sure that more than the sector, it's more if there's women, if these are women-owned and women-led enterprises.
All right, thank you. Noreen Bautista of We Connect organization asks, how big is the funding amount and how can entrepreneurs access? How big? Is it?
As I said earlier, the max is 15 million and low, depending on the need of the SME.
Great, thank you.
And the total contribution, just to repeat, the total contribution from the Macquarie Group is 43 million pesos, which is 1.25 million Australian dollars.
Okay. From, good.
That 43 million, is that for the Philippines alone or the whole Southeast Asia?
The Philippines alone.
Right. From Ria Arceo of Beacon Solutions, is this open to all industries or are there priority industries? It's been answered?
It's answered.
Okay, sorry. Okay, and we have another question from Rosalie Messina, UN Women Asia and the Pacific. Where can groups and organizations access information regarding the requirements so they can prepare and apply for it? I guess they're asking for links and contact details.
So we have a website, investcap.com. Yeah. So they can just access the website, and then we can
Good.
we can communicate with them through that, so they can write us.
Thank you. I have no more questions online, I think. How about from the rest of our press friends?
As for me, Ambassador Sirs, ma'am, will there be some sort of a time frame for this initiative? And how are you going to determine if it's a success?
Sorry. So the timeline we're looking at is 18 months to 2 years, and we'll see how things are going. And determining its success just goes in the number of enterprises and women who have been able to access the funds and seeing their investments grow and their enterprises grow. So, we're looking also at the bottom line of those enterprises, because we are indeed hoping that they develop and then cause reinvestment because they are successful. So we're looking at businesses that take off, businesses that grow, and the businesses that stimulate further investment from our investors.
So after 2 years, are we looking at maybe augmenting the investments from 43 million?
I think we'll see how we go over the next year. One of the things that we do with programs like this is evaluate it continuously, because that's just a sensible thing to do. So over the next year or so, we will continue to look at how it's going. And if there's an opportunity to invest further, we'll be very keen to do so.
Thank you. One last question. We're good? We're good? Okay, so thank you very much to the panel again for answering the questions, the very specific questions. And thank you also to our friends online as well as those in the room for your interest and your questions as well. So thank you very much, everyone, for joining us. Today is really the start of something great. It is set to build a brighter future, invest in women and girls, and our stakeholders are doing just that. We would like to thank our panelists, His Excellency Ambassador Steve Robinson AO, Mr. Eric Yaptangco, Ms. Benilda Ronquillo, and Ms. Christy Plantilla. Let's give them again a round of applause. Thank you, thank you, thank you very much. And again, our gratitude to the members of the press for joining us at the Macquarie Investing in Women Rice Fund launch. Thank you. At this point, may we ask the panelists to come in front. You may now leave your comfortable seats to have your photos taken as a group. Again, let's practice social distancing. We'll just try to get you into the frame. And thank you again, everyone. Have a great day.